What's good, fam? It's your boy Jorge. Welcome to another episode of the Boys Podcast. I got Dave. I got Hater Dave in the studio.
Dave.
We talked about him in the past. So Mike's on assignment.
Okay. All right. He's doing something important.
I mean,
it better be important to be missing this. So.
Hanging out with super hot golf influencer chicks.
Approved.
I mean, you know, I had to give him the day off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens sometimes.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mike's gone this week. I'm actually going to LA next week to go to Spotify and hang out at their studios and do some stuff with Spotify. So big things coming for the podcast. And he gets back next Wednesday as well. So maybe we skip next week unless Hater Dave comes back.
Yeah.
If you guys give good feedback, maybe he'll come back. But I'm not really sure exactly like what time he gets in on Wednesday, maybe later or whatever. But yeah, so hopefully we have an episode for next week. But this week, Mike is gone. Hater Dave in the studio.
Dave's here.
Dave is here. Is that your new name? Dave's here?
Hater Dave.
Hater Dave. Yeah, there we go.
I was thinking about this last night. I was like, because you've already referenced me as Hater Dave on the podcast. I'm like, how did I end up with that name? And then I realized what happened. My wife popped off with it one day in front of you, and I instantly knew if I make a big deal about this, I'm forever going to be known as Hater Dave. And then that
backfired on you?
Yeah. Well, I just tried to play it cool because, you know, it's like kids at school. If you make a big deal about something kids are teasing you about, they're just going to harp on it. Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I'm just going to let that go. And about a week or two later, I think your son was like, "What's up, Hater Dave?" And I was like, "Fuck." Well, I'm stuck with it.
I think the funny thing is that one, your wife came up with it.
Yeah.
And then two, it just sounds good. So it wasn't like I even thought like, oh, I should just clown on Dave all the time.
Right.
And call him that.
Yeah.
It sounds good.
I think we were just talking. I was talking shit about something, and then she just popped off of that, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. So it's a good moniker.
Yeah. For all of you that are unfamiliar with me, Hater Dave, I'm Jorge's partner in golf. So that's I think that's where you're getting all your golfing time right now, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get out there with Mike, hopefully sometime this summer, because he's pretty good.
He's way too busy for us. I hope he listens to this. I hate you.
What? Hate me or Mike?
Mike.
Okay. I'll take either one.
Chilling.
I don't really care.
I think he's in San Diego right now as we speak.
Dude, that's probably one of my favorite places to visit, actually. Yeah. Just because it's fucking perfect weather all the time.
So he's road tripping San Diego to Arizona, I think Phoenix. So probably stopping through Vegas and then through Arizona, just doing some golf stuff. And I mean, what a life.
I know. That's got to be pretty awesome. I have I have a title. Or I've claimed a title over Mike. Last time we played, I actually beat him in golf, which was the best round I've ever shot. I think it was like a 74 or something. And it was a total fluke. But I think from that, Mike assumes I'm a good golfer. Yeah. And so I'm like, all right, I'll take it. Yeah, because until we meet again.
I witnessed the last few weekends. And
it wasn't that great. Yeah. I was like, okay.
Hey, but before you open that and to start off the podcast, let's say a big rest in peace to the GOAT, Jerry Springer.
Dude, I saw that this morning. I was like, Jorge better be bringing this up.
I mean, come on, I wouldn't be a professional.
Was there ever a kid growing up in the 90s that didn't grow up on Jerry Springer? I mean, I think my sister, I found out about it because my sister texted my mom and I and was like, RIP. And I was like, yeah, but now that I'm thinking about it and I have kids that are 9, I'm like, how was I watching that when I was even 12?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's a great lesson on how not to behave.
Well, you know what it was? I think the Jerry Springer show probably came on right as you got home from school.
Yeah, you're right. I think it was like 3:00 or something. Yeah. And then so that means ran for a couple hours.
Yeah, so that means there was no parents at home supervising you, so you just watched Jerry Springer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a complete clinic and exactly not how to act, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess he ended up getting cancer sometime this year, and it just like progressed that fast, and he passed away at the age of 79.
Yeah. Did you know he was the mayor of Cincinnati?
I think so.
That I never knew.
I don't know. I probably didn't know the place, but I'm pretty sure I knew he was a mayor.
I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess he was well spoken. Do you think any of his show was not acting?
I think at the beginning.
At the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
For sure.
There's been several, candidates where they're like, oh yeah, we're all just paid actors, but who knows?
It's like social media nowadays when someone blows up on social media. Like you can, and then you go back to watching what they did before they blew up.
Yeah.
They were like normal. They would try certain little different things here and there. And all of a sudden that one video blew up. And then that's the character that they have to play from now on.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's kind of, I think, what happens with television too.
Yeah. It's interesting. That's basic. Yeah. Very true. I was going to name some actors that have like fallen into that rope. Paul Rudd is like a classic.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen.
It's called typecasting.
Yeah.
But
it's like once you've pinned your character down, that's all you're known for.
Mm-hmm.
Like Daniel Radcliffe tried not to be Harry Potter. Have you ever heard of those movies that he was in that wasn't where he wasn't Harry Potter?
Yeah.
I mean,
I've never been a Harry Potter fan, so I don't really care.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
His success was there, and then he tries to play like an undercover cop or something.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
He's actually coming out with a movie Weird Al Yankovic as Weird Al Yankovic.
I mean, I'll probably watch that.
And from what I've heard, because I talked a little bit about it beforehand, and you know, I was like, I just don't see him having that range in vocals to sing. Kind of, even though Weird Al wasn't like necessarily the most talented guy when it came to like a singing voice, but he was talented. And I actually think I heard snippets, and I'm like, dang, if that's really his voice, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
You think maybe AI takes a part in that?
Nah.
You don't think so?
Nah.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard some of the bits from
These guys
AI
are just
recently,
that good.
right? You think so?
I mean, actors, you know.
I mean, I can believe it. I
Yeah.
just like now it's even easier. Like, did you see? Not to go too far off here, but like the last what's it called, Megan, the AI doll. Have you seen clips side by side where they were actually filming it and then with AI imposed in it? Dude, it's nuts because you can't tell in the movie. You're like, how can someone move like that? Like there's a famous scene in there where she's kind of dancing and does some weird shit and grabs a machete and goes after a guy. And if you that's the clip where I saw specifically, and it's like, oh shit, okay, it makes sense, but it looks totally legit in the movie.
Well, yeah.
It's impressive where they didn't have to do any kind of choreography. It was just AI.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Will Smith battle aliens and kill them for Independence Day. Like, you know, and that shit looks legit.
I mean, okay. Well,
I'm just saying it's not anything impressive. Like, we'll talk about AI at the end of the show.
Okay, all right.
And I'll give my thoughts on it. Like, people are just like too over the top with it right now. But I did want to get into another reason why Mike skipped the show, I believe, is because he owes me. I beat him in the bet. He owes me a Yerby.
Okay.
I don't have one this week.
They're
You have one.
expensive.
Yeah. I can't afford it.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Can you mind if I...
Go for it. So Sergey and the UFC beat first round KO Curtis Blade. So
they're in heavyweight division though.
yeah.
I've struggled to be impressed with the heavyweight division in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while, but that one's exciting because John Jones is up there. So this guy seems like a legit contender for John Jones.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens with that. Stipe, which is like the ex-champion up there, he's been running his mouth saying like, no one's heard of John Jones since he won the title.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. He's hiding basically. John Jones came out and said, yeah, I'll fight you, but you're going to be my retirement fight. So I don't know if that means I'll fight you next, and then after I beat you, I'm retiring.
He just fought, right? Like what, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago?
But no one's heard of him since.
Right.
He's just kind of been doing his own thing. Or does that mean he's going to come out, fight a couple guys, defend the belt, and then for his last fight Stipe? I don't know. But I can see how that bugs someone like Stipe, because it's like, well, I want to fight for the belt, and you're kind of saying I'm waiting 2 years maybe.
Right. Yeah, that's I don't know. That's interesting. I haven't followed up on Stipe in a long time. Has he been active at all?
No.
I haven't even seen his name. Okay. All right. So
that's why the belts changed hands, and you know.
Okay. All right.
So, and then also Tank Davis beat Ryan Garcia. Yep. So it was a good fight in the 7th round. Body shot, punch to the liver.
Yeah.
Took down Ryan. A lot of people, non-boxing fans, I know it's hard to like see it. He got hit, stood back, put his hands up still, and then took a knee. You know, but if you know anything about like...
Yeah, it might take a second or two to really...
Yeah, anything about like fighting and body shots, it takes a little while for your body to register what just happened. You know, in that situation, you're punching like the rib cage area.
Right.
And the rib cage is there to protect your organs, right? So the rib cage gets moved into your liver, and then your liver takes a little bit to like register like there's some trauma, and then it fully shuts down the body because it's, you know, it's not supposed to take any trauma. It's protected by other things.
Right.
So when it's taking this trauma, it's kind of telling you like, okay, relax. Don't do what you just did because that sucked.
Yeah,
you know?
I didn't watch the fight, but when I read a quick article, I looked it up at some point, I think on Saturday night, because I was like, oh, that fight should be over. And I was like, damn, that's got to hurt.
Yeah.
Dude, get hit hard enough like that?
Yeah. So then, you know, Ryan came out saying that he had a mole in his camp. And then also Tank even came out saying like he kind of knew that Ryan's body's been hurt before and blah. And it's like, I mean, that's just stupid. I think that's just more for clicks and stuff. If you're a boxer and you're that caliber of a boxer, you're telling me that you need a mole in someone's camp to tell you to hit that guy in the body?
Yeah.
No, you're going to do that regardless.
Yeah, there's body shots swinging.
Yeah. So I think he just caught him good. He's a shorter fighter. That's what happens when you fight shorter.
Well, you know what it is? It's just another excuse to run it back.
Hopefully.
Because, I mean, no one gets paid quite as well as boxers do, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much they're making, but it's in the tens of millions.
Yeah, I think they sold 1.4 million pay-per-views for this fight. So it's the second highest pay-per-view ever from Mayweather and Conor.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So that wasn't even like a legit boxing.
Yeah.
Like it was, but you know, so this is the second biggest pay-per-view buy.
Okay.
So yeah, it was good numbers. I would like to see it done again, you know, but like I said, Tank's he's really good at what he does. He baits you and then kind of he sees all these openings. He knocked down Ryan Garcia in the second round with a punch to the overhand left, I believe, to the face. Knocked him down. And he got right back up, but he just baited him. And even on that knockdown, you saw him like Ryan threw a punch and he moves back, and as he's moving back, he's smiling because he saw the opening the whole time. Right. And then threw his punch and knocked him down. Okay. So that's the difference of levels that I was trying to talk about last week. That it's this guy understands boxing a lot more than this other guy. And Ryan is just more known for just throwing that left hook, you know? Yeah. And when you go into a fight just knowing one thing and that thing doesn't work out, it's kind of hard to do something. Right. You know, so yeah, so that was cool. And then also, I don't know if you heard, but then we had a big weekend of fighting, and it continued with Nate Diaz choking out. Oh, I saw this. The Logan Paul lookalike. Yeah. Oh my God. So I guess this was like after an influencer fight in New Orleans. So he was earlier shown in the arena throwing like a bottle at someone. I think one of the fighters that had fought earlier in the day and won. Mm-hmm. So throwing a bottle at that dude. And then there's footage of him later outside with this Logan Paul lookalike. Yeah. Which really looked like him.
I don't know that they've identified him as anyone special other than probably his name.
Yeah, he just looks like Logan Paul.
I mean, I couldn't imagine being on the street with him and being like, oh, this is a good idea. But if you look at the video, he has his hands up. Like, I don't know if he's trying to prevent him from going after someone or what, but I'm like, I'm not getting in the way of that.
No, I think they kind of...
Because he's fucking nuts as it is.
Yeah, like, I think they mouthed off to each other. Okay. And then maybe Nate was like, all right, let's do this. And he's like, no, you know, whatever. And then it kind of pans away. And then when it pans back, it shows him already have him in a choke.
And it wasn't even like a defenseless choke, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. He just had him like his head down, and he would just put him out like that.
Well, that's how
that guy got off easy.
That's how John Jones choked out the guy in the heavyweight division. He just got on top and put his arm underneath his neck.
Yeah, but they were still standing.
Like, yeah, but you're talking about a high caliber fighter and Jake or Logan Paul.
I know, but that's like, it just kind of gives you the insight of where that guy was in his fighting career, which there obviously was none. No. You got put to sleep standing up. Yeah. Embarrassing. But I would say that's probably showing mercy because...
Well, I don't know. But then, so he choked him out, dropped him, and then the aftermath, there's some videos of the guy showing his head split in the back.
Oh, because he hit?
Hitting the ground. So now Diaz is a wanted man in New Orleans. Uh-huh. I don't know exactly how that works. But obviously if he's in New Orleans and gets caught, he's going to jail. Right. But I don't know about like if they could just go get him in California where he lives and take him back. I don't know. I don't really know how that works, but he's a wanted man. He's supposed to fight Jake Paul in August. So now they kind of were scrambling to see what's going to happen. And KSI stepped in and said, hey, if Nate, for whatever reason, can't fight in August because of the whole shit that just happened, I'm stepping in.
Okay.
And then Jake,
of course.
Jake Paul said, yeah, let's do it.
How many times have they fought?
They haven't fought yet.
Wait, they haven't?
No.
Am I the wrong Paul brother?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. That's why. I was like, wait, Paul and KSI, this is like round 4?
No, the little brother has to go and defend the older brother's honor this time.
All right. Well, maybe they should have, what's his brother's name? Nate Diaz step in instead.
It should just be like a full-on tag team match.
Right.
And the Diaz brothers are kicking ass there, but yeah.
Yeah. God, they're fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah.
But this totally sounds like something that would happen in their lives and prevent them from being yet again successful.
But I want to, at one point, you got to think and be like, all right, I'm a millionaire and I'm one of the baddest dudes in the earth when it comes to fighting. I don't need to be out here in the streets choking out people.
Right. Yeah.
I just don't understand it.
And I bet you because of his training, he will be held maybe to a higher degree, or a criminal offense is probably going to be higher since his hands are probably registered as a lethal weapon.
Yeah, but that was different because I don't think he swung at him.
Yeah.
So it was more of a choke out.
Yeah. That's why I said it was kind of like merciful, because I was like, I'd much rather be choked out sleeping than punched in the face put out, you know?
I don't know. You have a better chance getting punched in the face, you know?
I guess.
But another guy that doesn't like getting punched in the face, Floyd Money Mayweather. He's announced he's continuing his exhibition fighting.
Okay.
And he has a fight in June 11th in Florida against John Gotti III.
Oh, Triple G? No, that's not Triple G.
No.
Is that? No. Okay.
John Gotti, as in John Gotti's grandson.
Oh, okay. This is the guy that
The mobster.
John Travolta played
I don't know.
in the movie Gotti.
No, well, I guess.
I think so. Yeah. Which was laughable, but anyway.
Well, yeah, so that's his grandfather.
Okay. John Gotti. I'm thinking of what? Gennady Golovkin or something? Okay.
Triple
all
G.
right.
Yeah.
Triple G. All right.
So we're talking about the mobster. So I guess John Gotti III is a pretty badass UFC, not UFC, but MMA guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he does a lot of cage fighting. I saw some of his highlights today. Yeah, he's shredded dude, knocking out dudes in MMA. Obviously, his name helps.
Right.
You know, so I don't know what promotion he fights with. I'm sure it's like a pretty lower promotion. Just because, you know, if he was in Bellator, I think we'd know a lot more about him.
Right.
But he's not. And definitely he's not in the UFC. So I think the best thing for him was, Joe Rogan spoke about him in one of his podcasts, talking about he's a bad boy. So.
Okay, yeah, maybe that's where I've heard of him before. I was like, there's some familiarity there, but so obviously they're boxing.
Yep. So they're boxing.
Mayweather's too smart to get in a cage with anyone.
And I'm sure there's a lot of rules.
Yeah.
That the John Gotti III has to abide by in order to fight him. So we'll see what happens there. I feel like the last exhibition fight he had, I believe, was no one really heard of it. And then the one prior was against KSI's brother.
Okay.
And he got a black eye there. And the guy was like, oh, I'm the first guy to give Mayweather a black eye. And it's like, all right, man, let's settle down.
Yeah.
You know.
What's his name? KSJ?
No. Deji.
Okay.
And Deji actually fought Jake Paul when they were coming up into the boxing thing, and Jake Paul beat his ass twice.
Oh, wow, okay.
And then Logan Paul got his ass beat by KSI twice. So it's like,
right.
So now the two brothers out there, the winners in the family, have to fight each other.
How old's Mayweather now?
He's 50 something, 55.
Okay,
maybe.
I was thinking, and how old's this other guy? Any ideas? He's got to be an up and comer, right?
Yeah, he's probably late 20s.
Okay,
maybe.
At what point do you think Mayweather's going to be like, maybe? You know, it's since his exhibition doesn't count towards his record at all.
It doesn't count towards his record. Okay. And just imagine you go out there, even if because he doesn't have the power to be knocking anyone out.
All right.
even if you don't have the power, all he has to do is just beat normal Mayweather,
right?
Not get hit.
Yeah.
He knows boxing like no one else does.
Yeah.
His defense is just incredible that he's not going to get hit. It's easy money for him.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I mean, you do risk.
There's a line, right? Like, I mean, I don't think he would get in the ring with whoever's champion in his regular weight class right now and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and take this from you." No. It's gonna be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's like slowly deteriorating, for lack of a better word. And at some point, he's gonna be like, "Okay, I can't get in the ring with these guys anymore." You know, maybe when he's 60.
Nah, but that's the thing. Right now, he's not fighting boxers.
Right.
He's fighting like kickboxers and YouTubers and stuff like that. That are just going to be money, you know?
Yeah.
So that's just how that is. Real quick before we go into the second half of the show, Aaron Rodgers has officially signed on to the New York Jets.
Oh, I saw this.
Yeah.
Is that weird? Like Aaron Rodgers is like synonymous with the Green Bay Packers.
Well, I mean, he's basically doing Brett Favre. Brett Favre was the same.
I was gonna say that this happens to be the same exact age that Brett Favre transferred to the Jets too. Time is limited.
Unlike Brett, though, I think Aaron will probably do a little bit better over there and actually do something for the Jets.
Okay.
They
traded some first round picks or something in the draft. I think. Yeah, I think that's what happened.
I mean, I wouldn't have for.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know, but it's been official. A lot of people are super pumped on it, especially Jet fans, obviously, because they probably think they have maybe 1 or 2 years with Aaron, and he could probably get him into the playoffs and see what happens there. But you know, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, his career is pretty much over anyway. So, all right, see ya.
Yeah,
it's too bad. I wish he would have finished with the Packers just for the legacy, I suppose. But
and in my opinion, like I've never really like cared for the Packers, so this is one of those things where I'm like, okay, Packers, we're probably not going to hear from them for a while now.
Yeah. This actually plays perfectly into something I just did. I just opened a William Hill account so I could start betting on games because I have a severe lack of care in certain sports. And I'm like, people bring it up and I'm like, I should probably like have something to say about certain things. So I'm like, well, if I put $5 on a game, suddenly I'll know.
Yeah.
You know,
that's why like fantasy football was super fun when I used to play it because you have players from all different teams.
Yeah.
So it's not just about like the team that you follow. Now you're rooting for the quarterback that's on your opposing team because that's your quarterback and you want him to do good in your fantasy league.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's what's cool about that. And then you can keep up with things.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. So I was like, this is my attempt at like, I'll probably be betting mostly on golf, but you know, kind of keep up on that as it is.
All right. Well, let's get into some worth watching and speak about some golf.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, so worth watching this weekend. We got the PGA Mexico Open Mexico Open. We got UFC Fight Night, Monster Energy Supercross, and the NBA playoffs.
Okay.
So let's get into some PGA right now. I guess this round has been around for like 87 years, like this tournament there.
Okay.
But not since, so this is the second year now that it's been part of the PGA Tour.
Oh, okay. So it's fairly new as part of the tour.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
I think they used to have it kind of like the Corn Ferry,
right? You
know, stuff like that, but not the actual PGA Tour. So everyone's heading down. I think they're in Mexico already. I think the tournament started today, going through this weekend. Notable name, obviously, and probably the only one that really matters is Jon Rahm.
You think so?
I mean, in my opinion.
I took a quick glance. I mean, at this point in the tournament, there's which is starting Thursday. So there's so many names on the board. I took really probably no more than a 7-second glance through the list of names. I didn't see anyone I recognized, but I could have missed them for sure. So obviously, if Jon Rahm is in there, then I didn't come across his name.
Yeah,
but kind of cool. I had some interest. Mike's always talking about drinking and watching golf or PGA on the weekends if he's not up to anything. So this is kind of like where my interests are. So I was interested because I see, excuse me. I do the same thing. If I'm not doing anything, I'll put I have Peacock subscription or something, and I'll just put on PGA and whatever's going on, I'll just do the dishes or something and watch it.
Yeah.
So I looked into it because I'm like, well, I wouldn't bet that too many people watch the PGA.
Mm-hmm.
But so I looked up viewership and stuff, and on average, it's about 2 million people a weekend. I'm like, that's a lot more than I actually would imagine, just because, well, first off, it's the weekend, and second, PGA is interesting to me. It's interesting to Mike. Kind of like how you related to boxing. People don't have an appreciation for what those guys are doing unless they're out there actually trying to play, and they're like, holy shit, that's incredible.
Yeah. But that's where, like, see, because, we've been golfing lately, and I've been like looking up YouTube videos for certain help my swing here and there or whatever. And, like having it on, but like, dude, after a while, it's like, it is what it is. There's no excitement really.
Right.
Like, to me.
Right.
So,
and you miss a lot, kind of like you guys were talking about the track on motocross. You look at the ratings on some of these courses that they're playing in the 140s. It's not displayed well on TV at all. Like there's severe changes in elevation. The greens are just hideous when you're there in person, And so the lack of appreciation is easy to come by, But similarly, what you said, like when you're in the whoops on a motocross track, I mean, they're up to your knee, and you would have no idea if you're looking at it on TV.
Yeah, they make it look super easy,
right?
For sure. I think kind of what we talked about last weekend, just having this new breed of golfer coming out, is definitely bringing the viewership up. And then, just wait till there's that one golfer that kind of resonates more with the people, with the new breed. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's going to be like super mainstream.
Yeah. So in my quick check on viewership, I wanted to look at the Masters because that's probably the most popular one. So while normal weekend's about 2 million viewers, the Masters this last year had about 12 million viewers on Sunday. Yeah. The final round. And then to follow up with that was the most watched Masters in the last 5 years. Mm-hmm. But what I did was I scrolled through the Masters viewers. 1997 had 23 million viewers. My one and only guess, which is something you just hit on, is probably that's when Tiger Woods was at his prime. Yep. I was just like, everyone wanted to see.
Exactly. So you have kind of like that LeBron James guy come out for golf.
Someone that gets the fans excited, brings people that are like not into the culture of golf into it, because it's like, oh shit, someone new and exciting is in the sport, right?
And golf's already kind of there because of the influencers on social media, shows on Netflix, and just golf being more accessible to everyone nowadays, and a lot more people that are like cool are doing it.
I think Ricky Fowler probably had that similar influence, probably not to the same degree, but he kind of brought that new style into the game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think once we hit that point, when the one guy comes out, and it's a tough thing because, I was hearing a lot of things about the stuff going on Live this past weekend, and some influencer people were coming out saying like, man, you can't even have fun no more. It's frowned upon. Right. And it's like, that sucks, because that's how it should be. Like, everyone should be having fun. Yes, it's a classic sport where you have to like have manners and you have to dress a certain way and everything like that. But once we bring that one person in, and it'd be curious to see who that person is. Has to be someone pretty special.
Yeah, you and I saw a pretty special individual out there. Yeah. Hater Dave and me is coming out. Where we were like, okay, we are on the easiest golf course you could find probably within 300 miles right now. Don't dress like that out here. Yeah. But whatever. To each their own. Yeah. Live, on the other hand, obviously I did some digging, is usually only getting a couple 100,000, maybe in the high 100,000 ratings right now per their tour. I don't even know where to watch Live at this point, which is weird because they've poured so much money into it. Yeah.
Well, I think it was just YouTube, and I might be wrong, but I thought they went on FX. Something like that.
All right. I'll check it out just because if I can catch it for free, that's what I'm all about. Just something in the background, And my kids are actually liking it. Yeah. I'll put it on. I think the older one, Jetson, he just the other day, he's like, hey, can we put some golf on? I'm like, what? Okay. Sounds great. Yeah. Yes, we can.
Well, speaking of free, UFC Fight Night from the Apex in Las Vegas this weekend, 5 p.m. Pacific time. We got Sung Yadong versus Ricky Simon.
All right, so I'm gonna have to go with Sung Yadong on that.
I'm going with Sung Yadong as well.
Yeah, you can't not.
Yeah. So that one's for free. If you guys got ESPN Plus, watch it on there, 5 p.m. And then we got Monster Energy Supercross round 15 from Nashville, Tennessee. It's at 6:30 Pacific time.
How hard do you think those guys party on their off time there?
I don't think they do.
Not at all?
No.
I know you guys mentioned they're pretty strict. I'm like, if there's a place to do it, that's probably it.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, I grew up watching it. And then when I got older, I was involved with it, doing photos and video and being just in the industry and stuff like that. You kind of saw like a progression. Like some people like to party.
Right.
And then there were some people that came out and were like really good and won a championship and then they fell off. And it's because that's what they
right.
do, you know?
It's kind of like the waste management tournament with the PGA. Like everyone knows that's where you go to party. If there's a tour event that you're going to go to party, that's it.
But the guys are probably not even partying.
Probably not. But I know there's some guys. I think I know there's some guys that didn't go. I forget who you guys mentioned before. This is actually from your own podcast. That didn't go just because they wanted to avoid that crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, so the same with moto. Like there's the guys that party. But the actual athletes that are riding the bikes are not doing that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, they're pretty solid. They're athletes. And that's what's cool. Like nowadays, it's like when you pick a discipline.
Yeah. They're fully committed.
Yeah. And you can tell the guys that are like really good are because that's their life, dude.
Yeah. But I gotta love like a John Daly in the mix. You know what I mean? Like just a dude that just doesn't give a fuck about anything.
There always has to be that.
Yeah. For sure. It's incredible that an individual like that can perform at the same level to a certain extent and still be a professional. You know what I mean? And still be competing. It's like, holy
for
shit.
Sure. And now let's talk about NBA playoffs. I don't know how many people are into it. But there's some good teams. We got on Friday, April 28th, we got Game 6, Kings versus Warriors. Mm-hmm. Golden State is up 3-2.
I was going to say, that's all on the West Coast here, huh?
Yeah, so they could clinch it tomorrow. We'll see. If not, I think they play Sunday, but tomorrow's game is at 5 p.m. We got Game 6, Grizzlies versus the Lakers, and the Lakers are up 3-2. Game's at 7:30. So we're hoping the Lakers come out of that one victorious.
Okay.
There's a lot of trash talking.
We're hoping?
Most people are hoping, I think.
Okay. All right.
Because
I don't follow the NBA at all. I just have a lack of interest, really.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of trash talking going on with both teams.
Okay.
You know, we got the Lakers with LeBron that actually have a lot of talent. Yeah. And, you know, a legacy. Mm-hmm. And we got this other Grizzlies with like younger guys like John Morant that pulls out guns on Instagram and this other fool, which I forget his name, but you know, punched LeBron in the dick last game and got ejected. Yeah. But he's been talking a lot of shit.
It's like he didn't break his arm.
And then when he comes, you know, when it's time to after the game and the reporters want to interview and stuff like that, he just goes and hides. Like, and it's like, dude, you can't run your mouth and then not back it up.
Yeah, I can't do that.
You know. You got your ass beat, you know. So now, hopefully they just put him away. And then we'll see what happens then. And then Saturday the 29th, we got game 1, the Suns versus the Nuggets.
Okay.
That's cool. I like Phoenix, and I always like the Nuggets. So could go either way there. And then we have game 7, the Hawks versus the Celtics. And that's assuming the Celtics don't beat the Hawks tonight. You know, obviously.
Right.
If you're listening to this podcast, this already happened. Well, that's going to be the end of the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Dave, for stepping in.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Anytime you need me, as long as the viewers are okay with it.
We will see. That's what I was going to say. Were you nervous?
5-star rating. 5 stars, guys.
Were you nervous this time? I know you've been on the show before.
No.
When we had the other, but now you're stepping into the big
Not
leagues.
at all. I really feel like this has been more of a fluid conversation than us trying to... not super into sports, obviously. I am, but you know, it really depends on what's going on. I can talk a little bit about football, PGA, UFC. Speaking of UFC 288, May 6th, the biggest fight I was interested in, which was Charles Oliveira and DeRouche, who is like a math teacher. That was the fight I was interested in. It's been canceled, so I'm kind of like, all right, I'm out of that, I guess.
Yeah.
Cejudo and I forget.
Aljamain Sterling.
Oh yeah, the disco guy.
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Those guys are super fast.
Yeah. Dave is big into the UFC, so we watch a lot of UFC together.
Yeah, but I forgot where we were headed.
Just saying thank you for tuning in. And,
5-star rating.
You know, we're in the big leagues now here.
Okay.
So I thought maybe you'd be coming in.
No, not at all. Actually,
we got more eyes on us.
Pretty pumped to be here.
Good. So we'll see what happens next week. Hopefully we have an episode. Hopefully Mike's back in town. So back to the regular scheduled episode, and we'll see what he was up to. And then also I'll talk about my trip to LA, going to Spotify Studios. Mike was going to go with me, and I had it planned to like vlog it all, but then now I'm going solo because he's doing other stuff. It's kind of like, I don't really want, like, I'll vlog it and I'll post stuff on social media, but like just to like sit there and just talk on the camera, which everyone else,
people want to see that shit, man.
Well, yeah, everyone else in LA is doing the same exact thing. Stuff. So maybe I'll vlog it. We'll see what happens, but so that should be good. Hopefully we have a episode next week. If you guys are listening to this on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure you leave us a review. You could go on there, leave us a review. That helps us out quite a bit. You can watch this, the video version of this podcast on YouTube, and then you could also watch it on Spotify. Spotify has been doing a lot of cool stuff where they're adding like polls and questions and on there. So if you listen to this on Apple, like obviously we don't have none of that capability. But if you go over to Spotify, if you have an account, you can go on there, watch the video there, or, answer the questions that I leave. Like, what'd you think about this podcast? Leave us some feedback, all that kind of stuff. So Spotify is really trying to make it like super podcast friendly.
Yeah.
Like that.
I'm really surprised Apple hasn't joined that trend where you can upload video,
Yeah. Well, it's like super easy when like 70% of people probably have, maybe more, have, Apple phones.
Right.
So you already have the podcast app on your phone. So it's easy to do that instead of downloading an app on your phone that's Spotify,
Yeah.
So that's why like most of our listens do come from Apple, and I appreciate all you guys. Just leave us a 5-star review, leave us a question there if you want, and we'll check it out. But I think Spotify is really trying to be the podcast hub for everyone.
Right.
So they're doing some cool stuff. So we'll see actually what happens this week when I go over there and check out their studios and do some stuff with them.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Drive safe.
Oh, I'm flying there.
Oh,
come on now.
Fly safe.
This is the boys podcast. You got to fly.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
Hey, you do you.
But thank you guys for tuning in. Check out all our socials. That's @theboys_pod. Check us out on YouTube, The Boys Pod. I think that's all you got to put in, and you'll find us.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's there.
So thank you guys once again. Thank you, David. And until next time, thank you guys for hanging with the boys.
See you guys.